Hi Best Buds, it's Cathy with Cathy's Garden, and I'm so happy that you've joined me today. I started out making faux tea bags. I think they turned out pretty cute, but I thought it needs a little something else. So I decided to put a pocket in the side of them, and then you have lots of journaling space that's tucked away inside your faux tea bag. These images here, you do not have to have a printer for. I'm going to show you where I got them from, as well as the botanical pictures on the back, with a little bit of baker's twine on the top so you can pull them easily out of a pocket or a tuck spot. I think they're super cute, and they're easy to make, you guys. Won't you join me? I started with a piece of tracing paper that I have coffee dyed. And you can make these in different sizes. Like this one is smaller than this one. This one might be a tiny bit taller. This one's wider than that one. So you can make them in whatever size you want. I will tell you the size that I'm making the one that we're gonna make together. So I have folded my tracing paper over approximately 3 inches. I thought, let's don't make it so small you can't see what's going on. So now I'm going to trim this portion off. All right, so you're left with a strip like this. I'm going to go ahead and fold it in half just to downsize it. You could make 2 of these faux tea bags from this one little strip. All right, so we've got that done. So now we can make 2. The next thing I want to do is I want to fold the bottom up approximately, let's see if I can get this to cooperate, a half an inch. And let's fold this portion down. Oh, let's fold it down about an inch. Now what I want to do is I'm going to actually trim this off. So I'm trimming right here at the fold. I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to trim that off. Now, if you want it to be perfectly the same angle as the other one, you can take that little piece and pop it there and use it as a template and trim it. So now we look just like this. Okay. Next, I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom where it's folded here. I'm just going to eyeball it because that's such a tiny little piece to pick up and try to hold back in place. That's pretty close. All right, so at this point in time, this is where I brought in my distressed vintage photo, and I am going to ink around my edges. It might help just to lay it down on your mat and kind of ink it up this way because it is pretty flimsy. All right, so now what I want to do is I'm actually going to glue this portion closed. So I'm gonna take my glue. I'm using art glitter glue. You use the glue of your choice. And then I'm going to glue this portion closed, the little flap that we folded. What did we fold it? Half an inch. And now I'm going to glue it up like this. So now I'm going to glue this portion. Doesn't have to be, a lot of glue. We're just making it stay put. Now I've got it and it looks like this. So I'm going to add just a tiny bit of glue right here and just glue those 2 together so that when I turn it like this, it's going to be fairly straight. Now, I did not glue that down. That's still flapped up. You can still lift it up. That's not glued down. I glue the 2 pieces together right there. Now, this is where let's bring in some of our baker's twine here. I think this pink will be fine. It's already started. And I want to just cut a little piece, just enough for me to work with. Someone's going to ask me what size that is, and it is 7 inches. And what I want to do is I'll put the 2 ends together, and then I'm going to tie a knot. So now it looks like this. Where the knot is, that's where you're going to have it below the staple. And yes, we're going to use a little staple gun. I'm going to use my Tim Holtz Ideology staple gun. Now, if you happen to purchase one of these, do buy yourself some extra staples, because it doesn't hold very many and you will run out. So you'll want some more staples. So when you order the gun, order the staples, just for a little tip. So I'm going to put my staple about right here. Now you don't want to put your staple too far down in, because we're going to make this into a pocket, and then you won't have a very big tag to go inside. So I'm going to place mine maybe something like here. Okay, so as you can see, I can actually still pull this. Okay, so that knot's going to hold it in place. So, oh, and that's so crooked, right? So far off. See, that's why I measure everything, because that is so far over to that side. I'm going to pretend like that doesn't bother me. I promised to show you where I got my pictures from. Shabby Chic Vintage Ephemera, 500 pieces. Now, I purchased this from Amazon, and you get all kinds of different things. And what you want to pop into the search bar when you're on Amazon site is clip art. Clip art. C-L-I-P-A-R-T. Clip art. And all kinds of things will come up. And that is where I purchased this book here. Now, I have already taken out this page that was in the book, and I used it as my botanicals. And I'm going to go ahead and use one of these on the back of this one we're making together. So I'm just going to cut this like so. I also grabbed a little bit of book pages. Let me bring in my dish, because I've already prepared some things. I have my ladies, and I've inked around the edges of my ladies. And I put my ladies on this side of my faux tea bag. And I put my pictures on my botanicals on this side. You can do however you want. Maybe you have pictures of butterflies or other things, boats, ducks, I mean, whatever it is that you have that you want to use. I also have little pieces of inked up book page, like I showed you the book page. So I've got a few of those to choose from. I also have some like little fussy cuts of flowers. I have a few labels in here. I have some pieces of lace. So let's do a little bit of decorating. On this side, I'd like to put my lady. So I'm going to put my lady down, and then maybe a little bit of book page underneath her. Maybe something like that. So let's get this glued down. And then let's glue all of this down. And how about if we pop a label or something on here? It needs a little something extra. So let's maybe add a little label down here at the bottom. On the others, I was using my small stamp set. I thought I had a numbered stamp set, but I don't. Let's put maybe a small word, A-R-T. Yeah, I cut the T out first. Here's the R, art. Let's just write, oh goodness, everything's falling. Let's just stamp out the word art, A-R-T. I have my Stays On Timber Brown. We need the A first. So let's say A, R, T. Okay, art. That's kind of cute. I'd like to cover my staple up. I could use some washi tape, or I could pop a little piece of lace scrap on there. How about a little piece of lace scrap? I'm going to grab my hot glue gun. Decorate the top and cover up my staple. All right, and then on this side, I thought that we could use the botanical. So let's pop our botanical on, and we can pop a little bit of book page underneath it. So I'm going to add just a little bit of glue here, right there. Now what else do I want to put on here? I've got a faux stamp from Chapter 1 Papers. That's pretty cute. I think I'd like to add that right here. I don't mind that part of the staple showing. It's the part where the wires come together that I always like to cover up. I don't want it ever catching on something. So I'm going to place my glue all the way across and just kind of go across like that. All right, super cute, right? Just a little bit of this and a little bit of that. All right, so now it's time to put in our pocket. Remember we glued one side down, but the other side we folded over. Pretty sure we glued this side. So this side we can take our scissors and we can just cut a little sliver off like that, a little piece. And then we've opened up this whole side. I also said don't put your staple down too awful far, because this is where you're going to take some paper, coffee dyed paper, book page, whatever you want to use, and we're going to be slipping this inside. I'm going to use my faux tea bag to just give me an idea of how large this can be. I think I'm going to have to trim it down a little bit more. I'm going to put the folded side in first. So it's going to slip in here. Yeah, I need to trim it just a little bit more. So folded side in first, and it will slip in right underneath your staple. Now I need to trim this off even with the edge of our faux tea bag. All right, so now we look just like this. I'm going to take my sponge and I'm going to ink everything around, including the fold. So when you open it up to journal on, it really, I just love that look that it gives it. I have my little piece all inked up, so I'm going to pop it into the pocket with the folded side first. Now I have a little tab here. I'm going to take my tab, adding glue to my tab. I'm going to place my tab on the second part of my little piece right here. Not the top, but the second piece. And adding this right on the edge like this. And now I'm able to place this into my pocket, and I have a cute little tab that sticks out of the side. I truly have enjoyed making these. If you've enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up. I invite you to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. I'll see you there, guys. Bye now.